welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here to talk about the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 weeks later. This sucker has been out almost a month now. I got it on launch day. I made a lot of content about it, and I've got a lot of thoughts on it. But mostly I want to come back and talk about it. It's after the return period. You would think that the honeymoon period might be over, which, well, it's really not quite yet. So kudos to Samsung for that. It really, really is an enjoyable device. But I wanted to kind of address this again now that it's been out for a little while. Things have settled a little bit. People are getting into using them and probably pretty used to it by now. So before we get into this, I do want to say, though, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Let's talk about the Z Flip 3. Okay, so nothing too technical here. Today I want to talk about some of the things that I like, some of the things that I've kind of experienced with the phone since I've been using it, and we'll go from there. So 3 weeks, plenty of time for the thing to learn on my practices and my daily habits and my routines, the battery life, using the screen, 120 hertz, making phone calls. I've been using this. It's my daily driver. It's had my primary SIM card in here since day one. So I've got a lot of mileage on this phone already, and I still like it. I'm very happy with the device. Yeah, there are some things here and there, like of course the battery life I wish was better. It still is something that frustrates me just on a day-to-day basis. Some people, again, it's going to last you all day, and some people it won't, like me. So you might have to charge it at least once, maybe in the middle of the day. And for most people, I think they're okay with that. You may not even have to. If you don't have to, then great, that's amazing. But for me, I got to top it off usually around dinner time every day just to make sure I've got enough to get to the evening. I use mine heavily, and I get about probably around 3 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours of screen on time. I think that's pretty fair considering it's only got a 3,300 milliamp battery. It's just one of those things, and I've talked about this from the get-go, like ever since the beginning, before the phone came out. I knew it was going to be problematic because it was problematic on the last phones, but it's really surprised me how much people really like it. It's one of these phones where it's like, I thought people were going to be more harsh, more critical. I knew it was going to get out to more people's hands because, hey, $999 and all these crazy upgrades. I said this before, the Z Fold 2 was like the huge sophomore update for the Z Fold, and it changed so much. It was such a completely night and day difference phone. And then when you look at the Z Flip 3, you hardly even recognize it when you look next to the Z Flip 5G. And the Z Flip 5G was a very good phone. So what are my thoughts on using it? Well, again, the battery life, the screen, I absolutely love. The brightness is better, and I also like this screen protector that's on here, this PET style one. Even using this 3 weeks now, I mean, I clean it pretty often, but I mean, you can see here, it's still in really good shape. I haven't had any problems with it. It's not separating anywhere around the edges. I clean it probably every other day. So it's been holding up really well. I don't have any problems there. I really like how smooth and crisp it is and how much more of an enjoyable experience it is. Much more so than the Z Flip 5G and the Z Flip screen protectors. They were terrible. So, the cameras. I made a video, I made a review about the cameras. They're capable of taking some really good pictures. The frustration I have, like outdoors when there's ideal lighting, I mean, it takes good pictures. Indoors, whenever you don't have like really good lighting, it kind of frustrates me. I've taken some pictures of stuff and I'm like, that really doesn't look that good. And then I switch over to my Fold, and then I take another picture. I'm like, that really doesn't look that good either. Like, I'm not overly impressed this year. Of course, yes, they're the same cameras as last year. I didn't expect to be otherworldly impressed, but I really think they could have done a little bit extra in that department. Again, ideal lighting, outside, lots of different situations. It takes very good pictures, so I'm not going to ding it too much there. But the worst is for me, like at dinner time when you're in a restaurant, the lighting's not the greatest. You want to take a picture of your food. I know this is like the epitome of first world problems, so don't even at me. Don't fight me over this one. But yeah, you go take a picture of something in less than ideal lighting, and you're like, this really doesn't seem like $1,000 caliber camera performance. But overall, in most settings, it's going to be perfectly fine. So as the video, I will say that I basically don't use these cameras as a selfie at all. Like, I didn't find it otherworldly practical with the last two phones, and this go around, I don't find it even that much more practical still. I'm not like, here, let me do this and take a picture this way. You can do it. I mean, it works fine. You can see the viewfinder. It comes on easily. No issues. Switch back and forth. It's cool. Ta-da. But it's just not something I use. You may use it if you find yourself in a predicament and you take a selfie with the primary camera and you're like, this looks like pants, it's potato quality. You can flip it around and you can use that. Flex mode, I do enjoy. I really enjoy setting this up on like my desk when I'm doing things. I like to put it on my nightstand whenever I'm laying down at night. I like listening to music with it because it's so much better with the stereo speakers now. Having that extra speaker up top makes a world of a difference. I didn't like it. It was okay when you close it up like this, which it's still basically the same way. You get the speaker down the bottom. But when you were using the phone otherwise, like for a $1,449 phone last go around, I felt like it was adequate, but it could have been so much better. So I'm glad there's 2 speakers on here now. Totally love it. The hinge seems to be fine. It's broken in nicely, nice fluid motion. Of course, I love opening it up to answer phone calls, closing it to hang them up. Ergonomically, I think it's good. I think it's a gorgeous phone. I like the design. The weight is good. It feels premium. I mean, it's a solid phone, and I really love this Samsung case with the ring on it. Somebody actually asked me, I went to go eat dinner the other night, and they're like, is that a giant key fob for a car in your hand? I'm like, no, this is the Z Flip 3, dude. This is no car key fob. Yeah, this is how I open my car. Anyway, yeah, but overall, I don't really have too many complaints about it. There are some things I'd like to see on the next one. Like when we get around to the Z Flip 4, it has to have a better battery. Like the battery technology has to be better by then. You can't tell me that from the Z Flip to by the time we get to the Z Flip 4 that 2.5 years have lapsed and we haven't got better battery. They keep adding more features. That's great. It's a more premium flagship experience. It's very much worth $1,000, but we need some more time on our screens, bro. Samsung addressed that. So I would like to see more battery for the next go around. I'd like to see S Pen support. I think that would be cool. I think it would be really neat to be able to use this and then use the S Pen. Maybe some people think that that's like, but hey, if people can complain about DeX, I can complain about not having an S Pen. Speaking of DeX, the next one needs to have DeX. I talked about this before. I said I thought it was because of the battery limitations. Look, this thing gets hot sometimes under load when you're using GPS. I found a couple instances where it's gotten really, really hot, and I've kind of validated some of the issues people were having out in the real world. I think if it were using DeX, it would probably get real spicy and hot real quick. So maybe they tested it and it just were like, no, that's not going to work. But they need to find a way to get DeX in here. It's just too expensive and too powerful of a phone, and too many people like to use DeX. This is like it could be the perfect personal PC and phone. Could you imagine using DeX and then having your phone just on a dock like this somewhere? And it's basically like a tiny computer. I mean, it is a computer. It's a smartphone, but you know where I'm going with this. I think performance-wise, processor, memory, I mean, it can handle anything you throw at it. The 120 hertz is so nice and smooth and crispy. And having used this for 3 weeks, I still enjoy using it every day. It's not one of those things where it's like, okay, it was cool for a week and now it's kind of worn off, or okay, it's cool for 2 weeks, I'm thinking about taking it back, it's just not the most exciting. Look, I've been all in on the Z Flips since I got the first one, a couple months after it came out. I had some harsh criticism for it at first, and then after using it, I'm like, sometimes it's just the experience. And there's been a lot of criticism about this phone. A lot of people are like, the battery's too bad. I can't live my life this way. And if that's you, go for it. I'm sorry if it doesn't meet your needs. I'm sorry if you don't enjoy the experience enough to where if it dies in the middle of the afternoon or the evening that you don't go plug it in. If that's too much for you, I understand. It's not for everybody. This phone is not for everyone. But if it is, and you enjoy this kind of stuff, then I really like this phone. I don't find it gimmicky. Some people find it gimmicky. Okay, cool, whatever. That's your prerogative. But I think that it's functional. I like having the flex mode. I like having to be able to prop it up on my desk. I like being able to use it for recording stuff. I like being able to open and close it for phone calls. There is actually real world case scenarios. Hey, it fits way better in my pocket like this with my wallet than having a phone like this that you throw in there. So I think at $999, there are a lot of use case scenarios that make it a very, very viable phone for a lot of people. There's just that whole, yeah, the cameras could be better, the battery life could be better. They need to up the charging on here. That's another thing. It's only got 15 watt charging. It's 2021, people. You got to be able to recharge this faster. If you're going to have a 3300 milliamp battery and it's going to die in 3 to 4 hours of screen on time, you really need to charge it faster. I know there's probably concerns there with heat. It has heat issues, I think, because it's a Snapdragon 888. It does warm up sometimes, especially when charging, playing games, GPS. I've had a couple of times this thing has really piped off whenever it comes to the temperature, and it was concerning to me. So I even made a video about it. But it needs at least 25-watt charging. I mean, throw us a bone. If you're going to give us a low battery, at least let us recharge so we can get off of that charger quick, fast, and in a hurry. IPX8 I think is cool. Everything about the phone I think is basically an upgrade over the last ones. It's hard not to say that it's a much better phone. It pretty much is in every single area, especially now that you look at the price. $9.99 versus $14.99, but texting on it's nice. Using it, haptic feedback, it's enjoyable from day-to-day use. It's enjoyable for media. It's enjoyable when I play some games on it. The only thing I don't like is it's a tall phone. I mean, whenever you're trying to play stuff on it, it's pretty tall profile, and it's also thinner than most. It's not quite as wide in the width department, so it's not the most ideal for gaming, especially of course because of the battery life. But if you want to, you can. Snapdragon 888, you can play any title that's out there on the market without any problems, no question whatsoever. So if you're in the market for one, if you want one, then I say go for it. I feel really confident in it. The only thing is the battery life, and you'll figure that out. If you get it and you wait a week, you wait for it to figure out all your routines, and then the battery life still sucks and you're not willing to live with it, take it back. You can do that. And if you order it from like Samsung, there's no restocking fee. Yeah, if you go to Best Buy, you go to AT&T, you go to your carrier, you're going to have a restocking fee. That's something you have to worry about. But if you order it from Amazon, you order it from Samsung, no restocking fees. Amazon, I think you get 30 days. So, hey, there are ways you can try it out, see if you like it. Of course, I'm not a salesman. I'm not getting paid anything for this. I paid like a lot of money for this phone for myself. I'm just sharing with you guys my experience, letting you know I like it. I think it's perfectly safe. I think you're going to enjoy it. And I enjoy it. I think it's a really good phone. Yes, people have some hang-ups over the battery. I have concerns about it. It does irritate me personally, but I enjoy the phone so much, it doesn't really bother me to have to recharge it when I sit down for dinner and top it off in the evening. But also, I do carry two phones. In the event that it does die on me, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to let it die. Once it gets to about 20%, I switch over to my Fold. So carrying two phones, if you carry two phones, it's so fun to have this as a primary phone. It's just a really enjoyable experience. But not a whole lot of people carry two phones. Not many people are as like addicted to phones as I am. So that's all I got. I just wanted to take a look at this 3 weeks later, let you guys know I still like it a lot. So that's all I got in this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.